Welcome everybody to another edition of WCW 2004 here in TEW 2020, as it's now time for Nitro, the Go Home Show for Slamboree. But first, a little bit of a plug before we get going. Don't worry, this is going to take multiple minutes like it used to last week. But again, just if you follow the link in the description, I do have a Patreon. If anybody's interested in giving me some support, of course, I've got stuff ranging from just giving me support at $1 a month, up to being add your own character to a series, getting all in booking decisions, downloading versions of the various, series that I have going. Downloading the actual databases for that and other fun stuff like that. Again, take a look, in the link below, and if you, think you'd enjoyed, go ahead and, give me some support. If not, I'm going to continue all these series for as long as possible, but this is just a little extra thing if people want to do it. Anyway, on to the actual show. As we start with a pre-show match, as in a pre-show match that Terrible Wrestling, that's me, and Noxus and Crowd Heat, Lucina Busick up from Developmental, Nikita Kalt and Lexi James defeated Sling Cartier, Jordan Cole and Emi Sakura in 12-4-48 when Nikita Kalt pinned Emi Sakura with an icebreaker. I'll have to figure out what that is, but it's a move. This gets a 61 overall. Lexi James gets a 53, Nicole gets a 56, Lucina Busick gets a 45, which is pretty impressive considering she's not, this is outside of the dev territory in the Southwest. Emi Sakura gets a 48, Jordan Cole gets a 53, and Sling Cartier gets a 60. So a decent little pre-show match, as women don't have any actual matches tonight, but still, they are on the show, just not in any matches, but this is a good beginning. So this gets a 61. So after our opening, oh shit, why did I not, okay, well, this should be Booker T off screen, anyway, fun times. Anyway, so the show starts with basically, the Booker T has promised that he'll have suitable competition for a tune-up against Jeff Hardy at Slamboree, but announcers have not been told who that suitable competition is, so we'll just have to see later tonight in our main event. And that gets a 70, and then we have Eric Bischoff actually coming out, as he's already in the middle, but the announcers put out Eric Bischoff's already here in the middle of the ring, and as Eric Bischoff is in the ring, he brings down the actual cage that's up high that you can see, and Bill Goldberg is already in the ring beside him, and he says, what's better than a little controversy to start off a Monday Nitro? So, as you know, it creates cash, and I'm all about cash, I'm all about ratings, I'm all about making WCW as successful as possible. So what we're going to have tonight is a little preview of Cage Sheet, as this man, once Goldberg gets a pop, will face off a member of the Triumvirate, Lance Storm, inside this cage. That way, the Triumvirate cannot get involved, and Bill Goldberg can get a little leg up and a little in-ring time before Slamboree, and also the Triumvirate can see what he'll do inside that ring. So, Lance Storm, get out here and have the match that you never had in the first place. 69, decent pop as we start out with the cage match. So, when we go to the actual cage match itself, and about that great heat and good wrestling, Bill Goldberg defeated Lance Storm in a cage match, dropped down to very low because it's TBS, an 8-12 by pinfall jackhammer because, it's Bill Goldberg versus Lance Storm. This gets a 71, Goldberg gets an 81, Lance Storm gets a 72, mainly because it didn't click. But also, what happens here is this is just a complete domination by Goldberg. He just tosses around Storm. Storm does a little bit of, heel running away to try to avoid getting, destroyed by Goldberg. And he eventually, does hit a super kick, but Goldberg basically no-sells it as Storm goes for another one, but Goldberg just grabs him and hits his, wacky gut-wrench suplex thing. Eventually, spear, jackhammer, and Lance Storm, faces, has to get pinned 1, 2, 3 right in the middle of the ring, as a good little win for Goldberg, and a way to, set up the match for the pay-per-view, as it is Goldberg versus Mike Awesome. And what happens as the cage rises back up is, of course, as you can guess, the rest of the Triumvirate run in. Of course, Goldberg is ready. Goldberg is ready as soon as he hits he kips up after the jackhammer, ready for the attack, and he's fighting off Kidman at first. He's even fighting off Awesome at first, but eventually, it is 3-on-1, and even Bill Goldberg can't fight off somebody off 3-on-1. So eventually what happens is they get the table out there. Kidman, Storm drills him with super kick, which knocks him woozy. Kidman hits a kid crusher on him, which knocks him down. Awesome grabs him before he can really recover, picks him up, Awesome bomb to the outside, through a table at ringside, kablam, Goldberg is taken out 6 days before Slamboree, and this gives Awesome a big advantage right before perhaps the biggest match of his life. As this gets a 79 overall, really good, good angle to, set things up and give the Triumvirate a little bit of heat before Slamboree. So, as we go backstage, We have the chosen few of Jett, Jindrak, and Gordy all backstage. Jindrak with his television title. When Kanyon comes in, and they all ready to fight. Like Jindrak, is cocky. Gordy is like being his hyperactive self, like punching air, ready to go for a brawl. But Kanyon, puts his kind of says like, I'm not stupid enough to come fight you. Come on, I was worse than before. I know you don't go in with advantage of numbers, but what I am tired of, Jett, is you. I'm sick of dealing with you and all the rest of your little minions here. But not only do I want you at Slamboree, Edger just simply nods at that and says, okay, slap nuts. But your two little disciples, I want them tonight. And Jett's like, fine, you can take them on a handicap match, no problem, slap nuts, and they'll take you apart and leave a little bit for me to smash completely at Slamboree. Kane's like, no. I'll find a tag partner, don't you worry about that. But after I get done with them, remember, Jett, I got you at Slamboree. Pop for that, as Jett, just looks over at Jett at Kanyon as he walks away. So that's officially set for Slamboree, which did I set that up already? No, I did not. It's a little bit backstage stuff. I didn't think this was going to happen, then I realized I didn't have anything for these guys to do, so why not do a rematch? This gets to 78, decent little promo, and sets things up for the next, thing. Then we have a complete and total squash as Evadville Sullivan, who in real life did move up and become like a high school coach in this area I forgot, we're at the Taco Bell Arena, which I believe in Boise, in front of 13,000 people. But yeah, Monty Brown comes out, basically kills Evad Sullivan in 110 by pinfall the pounce. This is just a complete destruction. Monty Brown gets a 57, Evad Sullivan gets a 14, and in a shocking news, they did not click, which is not, not a surprise. I just like Evad Sullivan like rushing him, Monty Brown getting in the way and just wrecking him with a big clothesline. Then when he get up and hitting the pounce and getting the 1, 2, 3. This gets a 44, which isn't the best thing ever, but not the worst thing ever. And then post match, Team Brown does a little promo. It's mostly just Stevie Ray as Monty Brown and looks scary, and Miss Jones is beside him. And he says, Stevie says, what's going on here is that WCW is afraid of the competition for a man like Monty Brown. They're scared of the way Brown could easily dominate WCW right now if he was given the opportunity. But if you don't give us the opportunity, sooner or later, we'll have to take it without any way we can. And then they all walk away as the crowd boos because it's Monty Brown, and he's still a heel, and Stevie Ray's a heel, and all that good stuff as this gets a 56. Fun stuff. And then we have our tag team partner, our little tag preview of two of the big matches of the U.S. title match and the Cruiserweight title match as any about that deep crowd is proud, but it's subpar wrestling. Yoshihiro Tajiri and AJ Styles defeated Elix Skipper and Keenan Sharp in 743 when AJ Styles pins Elix Sharp with a spiral tap. Okay, that would be insane for him to hit that, but okay, why not? So this gets a 75 overall, and this is just like mainly a pure spot fest. Like, AJ does his, AJ goes after Skipper. Skipper does a little bit of heel work to get back advantage. Sharp and Tajiri match up, but Tajiri's while Sharp kicks. Sharp gets a little bit of technical skills to lock Styles in a submission, but Tajiri makes a save. Tajiri hits some kicks on Skipper. Skipper does some high flying stuff on both men, but in the end, Styles has Skipper, hits the Styles Clash, goes up top, hits the spiral tap, 1, 2, 3, gets a pinfall victory over his challenger at Slamboree with a big win. Sharp gets a 55, Skipper gets a 42, AJ Styles gets an 83 because he's freaking awesome. Tajiri gets a 67. Unfortunately, Skipper and Sharp didn't have any chemistry as partners. That's nothing to worry about long term. But again, solid win for Styles over his challenger at Slamboree, and Sharp and Tajiri gets to continue their little feud. And post-match, Styles and Tajiri celebrate as the crowd cheers as this gets a 74. Fun times. Then we go backstage where Celine Cartier, I'm not Celine Cartier, but Jordan Cole catches up with Angel Fox backstage, and basically she tries to talk down Angel Fox. She's like, look, I understand, you got a little bit upset over, Cartier winning the women's world title. What you're doing now, there's no point to it. Like, you're in the lose from the crowd. Do you think, somebody like Lacey James is going to be your partner long term? Come on, you're all on your own now. We can patch this up. Like, we can go talk to Selena. You can apologize, and we can get this all working together again. And Fox is like, why? Look, I get it. You have to be Celine's little, tag along because you don't have the talent to actually win a title, but I can. I don't need to be her second banana like you, okay? After all, you were here at the start of this division just like I was, but Garcia showed up a couple months later and just straight up stole your spot. And but I'm not going to be that way, because these fans make these disgusting slovenly fans, especially in Idaho, may hate me. Boo for cheapy. But I'm the true angel of WCW. I'm the true star. I'm the one WCW wants on posters because, well, look at me. And after I get done with Cartier at Slamboree, there's going to be nothing left of her to challenge my spot. And then Fox just pushes Cole and walks away. This gets a 51. Decent little thing, because neither of these are like great, uh, microphone skills, but decent stuff to build things up. But this gets a 51. So fun times. Then we have a decent little match as any battle that from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. Macias and Morningstar defeats Blitzkrieg and Yang in 5:58 when Morningstar pins Blitzkrieg with the last rites. So what happens here is, Macias throws around both men. Blitzkrieg and Yang hits like some sort of like double tope gun hilo or plancha on Macias to knock him away. They get a little bit of offense on Morningstar, but eventually Macias comes back in, throws Yang out, and then Morningstar gets drilled with the last rites from Blitzkrieg, as this is just a total squash for Deadpool, as they look, as they look scary, as the announcers put over, that Sean O'Haire still not been, was sent to the hospital after the end of last Nitro, and it's unclear what his future is as far as the match against Macias that he signed for. Anyway, in the ring, this gets a 75, Morningstar gets a 78, Macias gets an 82, Yang gets a 51, Blitzkrieg gets a 47. And it looks like Macias and Morningstar are going to do their typical, take apart the jobbers post-match when Chuck Palumbo's music hits, and he comes down as, basically, walks straight up to Vampiro and Macias as they're, oh, shit. Why do I keep on doing this? This should be Morningstar, not Vampiro. Please ignore the fact that's Morningstar. Okay, well, not the end of the world. Anyway. So, Palumbo comes down to stop the beatdown of Macias and Morningstar, and what happens here is, Deadpool says, yeah, it's true. O'Haire, he hasn't been cleared by WCW to have a match at Slamboree, unfortunately. Crowd beat for that, but Macias, I'm not going to let you walk away with that. So, I know you're in charge of this beast, Morningstar, so let me take care of him while you worry about whatever wacky family business you've got to deal with Vampiro. Give me a match with him, and I'll show that it's not just O'Haire who has a problem with Deadpool. Morningstar waits for a moment, looks down like as if he's receiving something, then hearing something, then goes back and says, the message finds is acceptable, but it'll expose how you were always a second-rate member of your tag team, Palumbo, and how we still run this company, and will prove that the message is true, even as you fight against it. Palumbo says, I don't give a damn about any message. I don't give a damn about whatever little mess you and little lover squabble you and Vampiro has, 2004, he has a little gay joke, and I don't care that Macias is a monster, because I'm here to fight, and I'll take on any of you. So, Macias, get ready for war at Slamboree. Then he walks away as the crowd cheers, as Macias stares him down, as this gets an 84. Decent little stuff, not quite our best stuff, but still really solid. But yeah, fun stuff. Then we go backstage, well, basically after the commercial, as Jeremy Borash is with Shane Helms, Reno, Cash, and Amber O'Neal, the whole of the Helms Legacy, as Shane Helms, again says, look, as the greatest United Champion of all time, I have to tell the truth. Boo. See, RVD talks about wanting to avoid his past, but he still uses chairs, he still dives over, he sends people through tables, talks about being Mr. Monday Night, and all that. You see, the greatest United Champion of all time, at Slamboree, will expose Art Van Dam, expose them at the extreme. How, nobody truly skilled can come out of a little bingo hall in front of a bunch of mutants and be actual talent, and continue my path of destiny on to becoming WCW champion. And he walks away as a crowd. He has just put over. There's a big 6-man tonight of Helms and the tag team champions of Reno and Cash taking on their challengers Jett in London and Rob Van Dam. And also, got a little bit of booking, as of course it's not Macias versus Sean O'Haire. It is Macias versus Chuck Palumbo. Not Chavo Guerrero, Chuck Palumbo. But this gets 78. Good promo for Helms as he continues his feud with R. Van Dam and puts forward that. And then we have another fun segment as Gail Kim is, comes out to do a promo, says, she hasn't always been a perfect little girl here in World Championship Wrestling, but she's always wanted to prove she's the best in that ring. So she challenged Nikita Kalt for that reason, to prove that she's the best professional wrestler in that ring. Not anything more, not anything less. But if Kalt wants a fight, she can have a fight. So Nikita Kalt comes out with Sina Busick by her side. That's just put over that Busick was Kalt's partner in all around the world, including when they both came to WCW and wrestled in American Wrestling Queens in California. And Kalt comes out and says, you were never truly the best because I was not here. I could have come up at any time and tapped you out, but I waited for an even easier opportunity than taking you on, Kim. Kim fires back, says, look, no matter what you want to think, I'm still the blue chipper here in World Championship Wrestling, and at Slamboree, I'm taking back my Women's Championship. Kalt fires back, no, Fraulein. At the end of the night, you only have two options. Tap and face the fact you weren't just good enough, or feel the snap of your bones as I break your arm. There's a stare down as the crowd pops as the Unters put over into the big women's world title match of Kim versus Kalt as this gets a 72. Good stuff, especially considering everybody's overness and all that fun stuff. So then after that, we have a big pop as Kanyon comes out and has Ray Jr. as his partner. Again, Kanyon's a babyface now, so he has babyface as partners. Good stuff. And the match gets a freaking 80, which is incredibly good. That 180 spinalness does not look great for Gordy, but what can you do? It says gets an 80, as in about that good wrestling, decent action from the crowd. Kanyon and Rey Mysterio Jr. defeated Ray Gordy and Mark Jindrak in 940 when Ray Gordy was counted out while fighting Kanyon? Huh? Okay, yeah, this game really has an issue with road agent notes. I really should have to make them more clear. Anyway, so what was supposed to happen here is, back and forth match. Ray Jr. gets to look impressive versus Gordy. Gordy gets to work with a guy like Ray Jr. Jindrak gets to do some brawling. Kanyon fights back, hits some big moves on Jindrak. And it looks like Canyon's going to hit the big Kanyon cutter, then the flatliner on Gordy and gets a pinfall victory. When, of course, Jeff Jarrett comes in and just wallops him with the guitar as the crowd boos. And the DQ is called. So this gets an 80 overall. Ray Jr. gets an 84. Kanyon gets a 92. Mark Jindrak gets a 67. Ray Gordy gets a 54. Fun stuff. And then post-match. Oh, okay, yeah. Have to return the booking stream because Gordy's injured. So what actually happens is Ray Gordy rolls out holding his back at ringside. The rest of the angle takes place as Jarrett and Jindrak beat down Kanyon and Ray and leave them laying just 6 days before Jarrett is set to face off against Kanyon. This gets a 73, and now I'm kind of worried about how long Ray Gordy's out for if he can't participate in an angle. But good solid angle to set that up. Fun times. Then we have another big segment as Jamie Knoble comes out and says, a lot of people have been asking me, why the hell I'm calling out a legend like Eddy Guerrero? Why the hell I'm talking about a former world champion like Eddy Guerrero? Why am I going above my station when I haven't supposedly done anything in my career? Well, here's the reality for you folks. I've got no damn respect for Eddy Guerrero because he ran away up north and only came back after the real roadblocks to his ascent were gone. Well, guess what, Eddie? The reality is there's still roadblocks. But they aren't roadblocks of politics. That people have good relationships with the powers that be or people in suits. It's roadblocks of skill from men like me. And at Slamboree, I'm going to prove to you, I'm going to put that roadblock in front of you and make you tap out and realize who the better man is. And it sure as hell ain't you. To Eddie coming out, big pop for that. And Knoble says, and Eddy Guerrero says, yes, Knoble, you're a fantastic wrestler. But, and I say this as somebody with experience in being this, you're also a massive asshole. Pop, Holmes. Yes, I did what's the best for my career and family. But I also came back because I recognized the greatest competition was in this company, in WCW, and to prove I was truly the best in the world, I had to win that WCW Championship. Meanwhile, what have you done? Found a big man to be your bodyguard and act like a cocky prick to be a former world champion? A lot of men have done that. Could do that easily. Not a lot of men could do what I did, Knoble, and come back here and win that world championship in front of thousands, in front of these WCW fans. Pop for that. Well, Eddie, I did exactly what you did a couple years ago. I challenged the best to prove I'm better. After all, I remember a young man with a mullet and a little less definition wrestling men like Ric Flair on Nitro when the show just started. Well, and Guerrero fights back. Yeah, that's true. But you know what Guerrero family values means, Holmes? Knoble, it means essay. I'm going to teach you a lesson. That you're not ready yet. Then they stare down, and then he walks away as the crowd pops as this gets a 93. Good stuff. Helps Knoble out, builds up the match, and fun times. Then we have what's basically our main event. Well, Booker's still wrestling, quote unquote, but you know, we'll see about that. Regardless, in our main event, in a good match, which gets an 87, Jett, Paul London, and Rob Van Dam defeats Helms Legacy of Shane Helms, Reno, and Cash in 1450 when Jett pins Cash with the crash landing. So it gets an 87 overall, and this is just the match you kind of imagine would be from these 6 men being in the ring. High flying, Reno gets his power spots in, but eventually gets, you know, some sort of double team high flying move. RVD does a little bit of brawling, does a little bit of kicking, hits the Van Daminator in on Cash in the midway point, but Helms gets involved. They brawl they brawl on the outside. Paul London does something flippy to almost kill himself because he's Paul London in 2004. Cash hits some big moves of his own. But yeah, Jett is just ready and sort of out of nowhere near the end as everything's evolved into a 6-way. Hits a crash landing on Cash, 1, 2, 3. Pinfall victory over one half of the tag team champions for the challengers. RVD gets an 89, Paul London gets an 80, Jett gets a 60, Cash gets a 70, Reno gets a 67, and Shane Helms gets an 88 because he's really good. And post-match, the babyfaces celebrate. So yeah, this gets a 71 little segment as we go to our main event, which is, of course, a fun little non-match, which gets a 93. Okay, not quite as good as I wanted, but still, it's pretty solid. So what happens here is Booker comes down to ringside and says he announces, like he has some real competition that has a close connection to Jeff Hardy and will show how easily I will defeat Hardy at Slamboree. And out comes Shannon Moore. Crowd is confused at this as Sinead puts over to the Scott and puts over to the fans at home that of course Moore came up in the Indies with Jeff Hardy. They trained together. But of course, Moore took a different path in WCW while Hardy was up north. And Moore, sort of comes down. He's ready to wrestle. But as he steps in the ring, Booker just drills him, as he's sort of stepping in the ring and just knocks him to the outside. And it's just a total beatdown as, Booker's saying, see this, we're going to have to use suck at Slamboree. And then crowd pops as, of course, Jeff Hardy comes out and starts brawling with Booker. And, Moore tries to get involved, but Booker wipes him out. But that allows Hardy to sort of, brawl with Hardy down to the ramp area. Eventually, Hardy, Booker tries to knock down Hardy, but, Hardy throws him into, some random stuff on the ramp. And then Hardy disappears to the back. Booker is, calling out, that's right, Sucka, you're tired of me. You're scared of the world champion. 6 times. But then he looks up and notices Jeff Hardy on top of the WCW sign, and then he notices Jeff Hardy flying on top of him from the WCW sign as he crashes on Booker as the crowd pops, as the announcers put over, Hardy doing whatever it takes to become champion, and if he's willing to do that, he just might become world champion at Slamboree. As we do the final sell for the pay-per-view, as the show ends, this gets a 93. We turn Shannon Moore face, because why not? And overall, the show itself gets an 87. So not quite like our top tier shows, but still a really good show. As we go to the post-match stuff. Ming. In game, by the way, he just announced his retirement. So, too bad for him. Let's just see what happens here. Survey says. We'll see what Raw does. Raw did, and then we'll go look at Saturday night tapings, and we'll do the rest of the other fun stuff here. We'll go to the final, announcement for every. Oh, wow. Ricky Choshu is obese. So sad for Ricky. So, let's see. What did Raw did? Okay, so Raw had Rikishi defeated Matt Classic. Triple H got a bit of exchange with The Undertaker. Farouk defeated Orton, defeated Raven K Quick and Sexy by DQ. Chris Jericho defeated Nick Dinsmore. Backstage segments, Real Rico defeated Bradshaw and Matt Hardy, and a triple threat, Brock Lesnar won a squash. Kurt Angle defeated Val Venus. The Undertaker defeated Kevin Nash. And Michaels and Big Show defeated Triple H and Chris Benoit and by countout in a random 100, because of course it was. Fun times. CML is planning a storyline to Miguel Perez versus Octagon. Latin Lover versus Shocker feud, which, that could be interesting. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Ray Gordy. Oof. Okay, that is unfortunate. That totally screws up my booking for the future, at least to a certain extent. Ouch. Also, yes, I sent Luxury to rehab because he was only hired. He's still on the roster because he's Sting's friend and Eric Bischoff's friend. So let's see here. Ah, shit. Now he's okay. Ouch. Yikes. Ray, you might be. I don't say you're kind of screwed, but you're kind of screwed. Okay. Oof. Okay. Wow. Okay. That really screws up a little bit of my booking, because I had a plan for the pay-per-view that involved Shane Douglas, and that's unfortunate. Oh, Jeff Hardy, no, you can't do this 6 days before pay-per-view, man. You can't. I mean, here's the thing. Here's a fine. And look, yes, I know, Gail Kim, you're currently dating Jeff Hardy. Then get him off the freaking hard drugs, okay? Yikes. Okay, Ray Gordy's trying to do a good work. Ray Gordy's injured. Also, Mark Jindrak is now a powerhouse. Okay, so, this sort of screws up my medium-term booking plans, because, okay, so here's just as a, putting things out here now that things have changed. So the original plan for the Kanyon, Jarrett match was that Shane Douglas would get involved and allow Jeff Jarrett to either win or do DQ, and then that would set up for Great American Bash, a usually WCW match between Kanyon and Shane Douglas, where the winner, winner there is kind of obvious, but Douglas's contract is up in a few weeks, at the end of June. I didn't really have anything more to do with him, so that was going to be the plan. But now, unfortunately, there we are. So here's the thing. That leads to some interesting ideas for both Kanyon and Jarrett, which I have to figure out. So yeah, guess you guys have to figure that out as far as the pay-per-view goes. Anyway, and also, yeah, I really hope Jarrett does not show up. Like, Jarrett showing up and pulling a real life what he did in 2011 would not be a good thing for anybody. But at this point, unfortunately, like, this world title match is sort of probably going to be Hardy's height as far as what I need for him. And if he, like, pops dirty again, I'll probably send him to rehab, no matter how unhappy Gail Kim is about it. So, anyway, now that we get that little fun, let's go over our storylines. So, Black Excellence is at a 40, which we'll probably need to figure out something out to do with that. Blonde Bombshell's at a 57. Booker Hardy is at a 92. Cash, Jett London is at an 87. Styles Knoble is at an 82. Darkness Evolves is at an 86. Horseman Evolves is at an 81. This Tag Wars, which is not really a feud, is at a 51. Helms RVD is at an 87. Goldberg vs. Triumvirate is at a 74. Vampire Morningstar is at an 81. Sharp Fury is at a 79. And Kim Kalt at a 70. And I just realized I completely forgot to make a Guerrero Knoble feud. So I'll do that real quick before the pay-per-view, unfortunately. So yeah. That's sure some bullshit. Anyway, as is tradition, I'll also now go over the rest of the world's news. So, yeah, Ricky Shoshu is fat, unfortunately for him. So, let's see here. We've got some news. So we're in May. Yeah, okay. So, go over what's happened since the last show. Also, first, just go over Saturday night tapings. So, last week, what happened, like, Saturday before this Nitro, is Miss Jones will give Miss Ernst Miller a match against Ray Gordy tonight, which is interesting, as Harley C then defeated Tony Jones and Tony Zena from Developmental in 48. We had Jordan Cole defeating Buddy Maxson in a 50. Then we had a Cole in-ring 55, basically saying, she's going to confront Angel Fox at Nitro. We had Jindrak and Gordy promo hyping up their match against Ernest Miller tonight, got a 62. We had Ebony Sable winning the squash against local guys John Cutler and Orlando Jordan at a 6, fun. We had Slamboree Control Center, which got a 79. And then in our main event, we had Ernest Miller actually defeating Ray Gordy in a 49, and then Miller escaping Jindrak and Gordy like escaping him. And that set up the next week of Saturday night, which had America Most Wanted winning a squash over Chris Rambola and Anna Ortiz, up from our Dev territory. We had Amber O'Neal winning a squash against Lacey, also up from our Dev territory. We had Liz Reed defeating Jordan Devine, up from our Dev territory. And in the main event, we had Mark Jindrak retaining the television title against Ernest Miller in a 61. So good, two little fun B shows. As I'm just bringing up Dev people to see if there's any random good, what's we're looking for here? Any random good chemistry. There we go, words. So, again, just to go over stuff. Weekly house shows, Tony Jones defeated Claudio, Kai Graves defeated Travis Tomko. Remember, that is evidence I actually did make Travis Tomko a deaf guy. Trans Prophet defeated Ryan Drago. Chris Novello defeated Sonny Siaki. Johnny Devine TNT defeated Keith Walker on the Vanguard. Tank Cullen defeated Shannon Bullard. Prince Nine, Cassie O'Reilly defeated Egocentric and Miltech and Rick Michaels for the Wildside Tag titles. Lazarus defeated Jimmy Rave, and yes, Jason Cross is still your Wildside Heavyweight Champion over Le Pen, and he probably will be for a long time because a decent chunk of these people will be coming up sooner than later. Then OVW had their big monthly show, as with Jamie Keys of, I think, Diva Search fame, defeated Sarah Stock. Riptide defeated Christy Ricci. Bo Buchanan defeated Steve Bradley. Lizzie Borden defeated Miss Satchel. Justice defeating Joey Matthews. Lance Kane and Christian York retained their OVW tag titles, defeating the real main event, which is Shelton Benjamin and Logan Kane. And Homicide and CM Punk, Team ROH, I guess, defeating Trip Breaker and Dean Jablonski. Then Independent Wrestling from Fukuoka was motivated by an old man team of George Kano, Gran Hamada, and Yukata Yoshi defeated Kadushi Takamura, Masaya Hora, and Yudo Ajima. And some other interesting stuff on the lower card. Let's see here. Empro had one of their big shows, and they had a random aid of Akuda Hadaka and the Great Suzuki defeated Hideki Nishida and Vittorio Inoue. And also, Shibata versus Suzumu Mizuki had a random 86. And yeah, this one was actually a pretty awesome show, except for the main event, which got a 57. Because, yeah, these guys are that good and getting older. Let's see here. Independent Wrestling. Sure. Let's see here. Our women's dev territory had Madison Clare defeating Tracy Brooks in a 37. Miss Molly defeating Ariel in a 41. Beth Phoenix and the Pink Girls of Nadine Hart and Becky Blaze defeating Allison Danger, Ronnie Jonah, and Vanessa Harding in a 48. Lacey Maria Hosaka defeating Sheila Melissa and Bobby Maxon in 56. And Desire defeating Lucy Busek retained the WCW Championship in a 56 as well. Then Wildside had TV. Let's see, what's of interest? Ken Anderson defeated Shannon Ballard and some other guys in a 6-man. Jason Cross and Lazarus defeated Ray LaPen and Jamie Raven in a 64. And Keith Walker defeated Tank Toland in a 57. OVW had their weekly loop. Not Justice defeated Eric Angle. CM Punk and Shelton Benjamin defeated Trent Baker and Joey Ryan. Linda Miles defeated Bloody Phoenix. And Rico defeated Homicide. And another weekly loop show. CM Punk versus Maven. Both Buchanan getting a win. Nothing too huge there. And yeah, I think that's about it to show you guys. That's really the big stuff. So again, to go over our lineup for the pay-per-view, we've got in the main event Booker T versus Jeff Hardy for the WCW Championship. We've got Kaden Sharp versus Jerry for the US title. We've got other Silver City Rollers defending tag titles against Jett in London. We've got Gail Kim versus Nikita Kalt for the women's title. AJ Styles versus Skipper for the Cruiserweight Championship. Bill Goldberg versus Mike Awesome in a cage heat match. Sin Cartier versus Angel Fox in a last man standing match. Right? I think. Yeah, that was the last one standing match. Eddy Guerrero versus JB Knoble. Jeff Jarrett versus Kanyon. Morningstar versus Vampiro. RVD versus Shane Helms. And Sean O'Hare versus Chuck Palumbo. So actually a really big card. Obviously some people are not on the show, and yeah. But, that's it for now. So again, as I said, I've got the link down to my Patreon at the bottom. Again, give whatever you think is, good. I'll be continuing these series regardless, though. And of course, if you enjoyed this, go to give a like. Comment below on what you're enjoying and not enjoying. And subscribe to the channel for lots of TEW 2020 content, including this series. My WCW 1984 series, which is heading towards Slamboree as well. And my MLW 2006 series, which is going to head towards first big show on Univision after I just by chance took a couple weeks off just because of how things laid out. And my W 2013 series now heading towards Money in the Bank. But that's it for now, so talk to you later, and adios. Have a good one.